Okay, let's get started with assignment 3. So right click in the assets folder. I'm going to create a new folder for assignment 3. First initial, last name, underscore, assignment 3. Hop into the folder, file, new scene, save the scene as first initial, last name, underscore, treasure chest. So this assignment is going to be in two parts. This first part is going to focus on downloading an asset from the asset store and preparing it for use with Playmaker. There's a few things we got to do to take something that was prepared generally and make it suit our purposes. So if you haven't used the asset store before, you'll need to make an account. I've got my account here. Well, it's my wife's account, but she's got a lot of sweet assets, so I use her account. So make an account for yourself. It should appear up here. When you start Unity, initially there's a chance to log in. So make sure that you're logged in and that you have your profile here so that you can think of the Unity Asset Store a lot like Steam. You log in, you buy stuff, and it gets saved on their servers, and you can go, it doesn't matter where you go, whether you're at home or you're at work. If you log in with your account, you have access to the things that you bought. So it's a pretty sweet thing. So let's start with, let's look for a treasure chest. Let's look for the treasure chest we want is the epic treasure chest. Here we go. It's free right here. And there's other treasure chests in this line that range from $5 up to a full pack of them for just under $20. This is the one we want. It's from BitGem Studios. BitGem does really cool work. They focus mostly on low poly, hand-painted style of models, so it's very, very similar to the kind of work that Blizzard does for World of Warcraft and Diablo. If Blizzard is a company that you like their work and you would like to, maybe consider working at a company at Blizzard or a company like Blizzard, I would suggest looking into BitGem's portfolio here and go through and look at their artwork, buy some of their artwork, and study it. These are they're fantastic, they're professional, they're well done, and you can learn a lot from going through their assets and looking at how they've done things. If you're interested in this style of artwork, let me know in class, and I will curate some resources for you so that you can study this style of artwork. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this treasure chest. So I've already grabbed it, but since it's free, you'll want to hit download, get, whatever it is. I'm going to hit import. Take a little bit of time. Okay, once that's done importing, we don't want to import all of this stuff here. This isn't everything this is too much. We don't need all this. So I'm going to uncheck everything just by clicking on the None button down here. And then I'm going to check the Chest Epic Gold Prefab and the model folder. That contains the model, all the textures and the materials, and that's all we want. Go ahead and import this now. When the chest imported, it sort of made a mess of our project folder here. So let's clean up this mess and organize things a little bit. So the first thing to do is this model folder isn't very descriptive. We need to call this the treasure chest folder. So if you right click on it, show in Explorer, it's right here. Let's check and see if this is read only. It is. Uncheck that. We'll make everything underneath it not read only. Then rename that treasure chest. Okay, let Unity update by clicking back into it. Okay, we can delete this model folder here now. It doesn't have any purpose. And our treasure chest stuff is all in here. The prefab for the treasure chest got put into the root of the assets folder. Let's drag it into the treasure chest folder. And let's go to the materials folder and let's put the shader from Blackboard, the treasure chest shader, in here. So show in Explorer, and I'm just going to paste mine in. I have it in memory. You drag yours in from wherever you have it downloaded to. Come back to Unity, let it update. Okay, go up one hierarchy to the treasure chest. Grab the chest epic prefab. It will have the texture and everything on it. It won't be this one. This one here that's gray, we don't want that. That's just the model. We want the one with the texture on it. Drag that to the hierarchy. And where is it? Oh, it's off in space. So let's pull this little gear here down and say reset. And that should drop the treasure chest back to 0, 0, 0. Okay, so let's jump into the materials folder. Select chest epic. The shader up here is on unlit. Pull the drop down. Go to shader forge and choose the chest shader. And there we have a red outline. Feel free to change this color to anything you want. Just think about like what does the color choice you're choosing say to the player? Does it say like, hey, is this a potentially trapped chest, or is this a really magical chest, or just pick a color for it. Think about what you're trying to communicate with the color. Okay, let's start modernizing this treasure chest asset to the new animation system. So with the prefab selected in the projects folder, let's go over here, and we have a script component. Right click on this and just remove it. We have no need for that. Same for this animation component up here. Right click on this and remove component. Okay, so I want to point something out important real quick here. We just changed the prefab. That's really good. So if we look at the prefab here, we don't have that script or that animator component. But if we look at the chest epic gold in our scene in the hierarchy, we still have those. We still have the script component and we have the animation component. If we hit revert here, that will pull the settings off of the prefab that's in our project setting and update it with what's in the scene. So if we had a whole bunch of chests in our scene and we needed to make a change to all of them, that's why you use a prefab. You do the changes on the prefab, and then you can push those changes to everything else that's in your scene. Okay, so this gray version of the chest that's in our project view here, this is the FBX file. We want to change some settings on this to update it to the new animation system. So go ahead and select it, and we have our model import settings, and this is where you get your scale factor. So like if it imports really small and that's a problem for your scene, you can increase that to 1 if you need to. If you here's the part that we're interested in is the rig. So the animation type is set to legacy. This is old. This is on its way to becoming unsupported. It's only being supported because there's projects that still use this, so as time goes on, this will eventually no longer be an option. What we can use instead for the treasure chest is generic. Once you've changed to generic, hit apply. Now we need to add an animation controller to drive the rig. So come down to the project menu here, right click, create. We're looking for animator. Animator controller, this right here. Go ahead and call this treasure chest animator. All right, double click the animator controller we just made. And this is another state machine. It's similar to Playmaker on an abstract conceptual level. It handles a lot differently, but it works on the same principles. We have states, we have transitions, and we have parameters that act like events that handle how things change. So let's go ahead, right click, create state, empty. Create another one too. So each of these states holds an animation. So we need to put an animation on each of these states, and I think we're going to need, let's see here. So if we come down to the project folder again, this is our FBX. You see how it has a little arrow here? This explodes out, and here we can find, like, we've got everything that makes up this FBX file, and we've got these animation files right here. We've got close, and you can preview them in this window right here. Got an idle, which is just the chest sitting there doing nothing, and we have an open. Cool. So looks like we may need a another state up here. So we have one. We'll make new state. We'll make that idle. Make this open, and we'll make another state, and we'll call it close. Okay. So let's select open. Let's drag this animation here to here on motion. Just drag and drop. Name that close. Do the same for close, drag and drop. And we can even do the same for idle, even though this animation is not really doing anything. Let's go ahead and use it anyway. Another thing I want to show you is that you can create new states just by dragging the animations from the project view into the animator window. So there. That's almost easier, isn't it? Cool. So we have the animations associated with the animator controller. Now we have to apply the animator controller to our treasure chest. So let's go back to the scene view. So what we need is another component. So we had an animation component on here that we deleted, which was from the legacy animation system. We're going to look for an animator component. There we go. Just type Annie. There's animation, which is the old one, and there's animator, which is the new one. Their names are very close, so it can be hard to tell them apart. The way that I do it is by the icon. So if you look at the animator icon, it's got like a little state machine graph here. It's got blocks and an arrow with a transition line going up here. The animation just has this play button. So that's how I typically tell the difference between these two, is the icons. So there we go. Add that. It wants to know, what's my controller? It's the treasure chest. What's my avatar? It's the chest epic. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can preview this animation. Okay, I hit play, and number one, our camera is in the wrong place, and I'm not seeing any animation. So let's take a quick peek over to the animator. So here we have our entry state, which happens when we push play, and it goes to idle, and nothing happens because, well, the idle is the animation that plays and transitions there. So nothing is happening. So let's fix first our camera. Select the main camera and go ahead and move this into a position that works for you. I recommend not getting too far away from the treasure chest because we are going to be interacting with it later. Now let's just do a little experiment here. Let's temporarily throw an animation besides idle on here. Let's throw close on there. Actually, we're already closed. Let's throw open on there. See what happens. Boom, the chest opens. It plays the animation. So it plays. That's cool. Let's set up something in Playmaker so that we can get a better idea of it opening and closing. So let's go back to the animator. Instead of leaving that at open, let's put idle back in there. Okay. So Playmaker currently doesn't have Actually, you know what? This is the beta. This is the latest beta. Let me see if the latest beta has actions for the new animation system by default. So Chest Epic Gold FSM, let's name the FSM. We'll call it animation test. Right. Open. Search on animator. There are no results for animator. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to download some new actions for Playmaker that will handle the new animation system for us. So Playmaker has an add-on called Ecosystem, which we're going to install. So let's go up here to the top to the Playmaker window. Down here to add-ons, go to add-ons online. That will open up a new window for you in your web browser. Select Ecosystem. Ecosystem browser package right here. Download the package. And this will open it in Unity for you. Just hit OK. And this will install a new asset package for you. Just say yes to everything it asks you. Okay, we want to import all of this. Okay, once Ecosystem is installed, you can find it up here in Playmaker, Add-ons, Ecosystem, Ecosystem Browser. So what this does is this actually searches the internet for Playmaker actions off of GitHub. So just hit use the ecosystem. Type here, up here in the search thing, you have to search for what it is you want. We want animator. Searching. This right here, this package, we want the animator proxy. Go up to here and say git. And it will import that package. You want to import everything in this list. Let's go back to the FSM that we have for doing our test animation. We've got our open state. Now let's search for animator. Oh, look. There we go. Animator's already loaded up. So here's animator play. Play is a state. Excellent. That's what we want to do. We want to play a state from the animator window. Add that action. Let's also throw a wait in there. Basically going to make a wait machine that actually plays animations. So a slightly less useless wait machine. And this is just a test. Close. Grab these two actions. Control C to copy, or right click. Copy selected actions. Select close. Paste actions. Add transition. Finished. And add finished to the finish event for wait. And finished as well. Okay, so we need to tell these what states do we play. We want to play, let's go to our animator here. Looks like it's calling by name. We want to play open. Press enter. Close. Press enter. Okay, let's go back to our scene. Push play, see what happens. Opens, closes, opens, closes. Okay, cool. So we are playing our animations. This object has been upgraded from the legacy Unity animation system to the brand shiny new Mecanum animation system, and it works just as it did in the old system. Great.